button pressed. Welcome to Browns Out of Town, Week 10 review, Week 11 preview. I'm Ray Roberts. That guy over there who needs a shave just as bad as I do is Jimmy Crawford. Yep. How are you?
Not quite as bad, but yeah.
Mine's lined up all right.
Maybe worse because mine isn't as full as yours is, yeah.
But. Yeah. It took me a while. Someday when you're my age, you'll be able to grow one thicker.
Yeah. This is just the first year I can do no shave November, and this I shaved once for June's baptism, but that's it.
You should try to grow it out since you don't have to go to work.
I know, yeah. I'm not shaving, so.
That's really what it took for mine to start growing, because mine was real shitty forever, and then I was just I'm just gonna let it go, and then it now if I knock it down, it grows back normal now. So you just kind of have to fight through it.
I had a class for work that I was taking that I had to look semi-professional in, so that's over now. So I don't have.
What are they gonna do? Send you home?
Yeah, I don't have to be on camera anymore. So
that's good.
Other than for this, apparently, but
yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Point of the podcast: everything Browns is not in their town. I want to stay in touch with the Browns, even though we moved. Social media at Browns Out of Town. I've been taking my Browns nonsense to our Twitter every Sunday instead of doing it on my own. So there's that. Rate, review, subscribe, reach out.
And you're reaching so many more people.
Dude, it's... I'm getting better retweets and better likes. It's ridiculous.
Good. I was being sarcastic, but
hey, if you do the right hashtags, you'll get it. I did. We'll get to it, but I did. Yeah, after Chubb ran out of bounds right at the end of the game, I put Nick Chubb doesn't give a shit about your fantasy football team, and then I got 6 or 7 likes and a retweet off of it. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, for our 14 followers. I mean, that's not terrible.
Shout out to Chris Clem.
Yeah. I don't think he was one of them, but shout out to Chris Clem. We might swear every once in a while. I already swore once, but that was quoting a great Twitter account, so that's not our words. That's their words. All stats. I do have stats this episode from Pro Football Reference, betting odds from FanDuel, and we'll start with the Ohio update. How's Ohio?
Good. I got a tree down in the backyard from the storm that came through the other day on Saturday, so that's fun. Not really sure how to handle that within a neighborhood, so I'm just probably gonna leave it there for a couple weeks, and I'll figure it out later.
How big of a tree?
It's not that big, but it's dangling on some wires. That's not the electric line, so it's if my internet goes out, I know why, but I don't have the means to take care of it right now, so I'm the world's worst homeowner.
Yeah, dude, that's so funny that it's just it's a legit adult problem, and you're just fuck it, it'll figure itself out.
Pretty much. I'll send you a picture tomorrow when it's laid out again.
Oh, that's so funny. Are you excited? I mean, it's not going to change your life literally at all, but what's up with this 10 o'clock curfew? I
don't know. It's not going to change my life at all, but they made such a big deal about it. It was this huge press conference, I guess it's for the restaurants more than anything, but it doesn't affect me.
But wasn't the alcohol cut off at 10 anyway? So when
they had a last call. Anyway? They had last call at 10 and they closed at 11. So I don't know how that affects it. I'm assuming they're closing at 10 now, regardless. But
yeah, Wisconsin's the most ridiculous because the governor will be can you please do anything about this? And then people are nah, we just don't have a government right now. We don't give a fuck.
Rose and I got takeout from an actual restaurant for the first time since this all started, just because we haven't done it. We've just been cooking at home and stuff. And so for our anniversary, let's get Texas Roadhouse. It sounds so terrible to say out loud. But
we've been DoorDash has been huge.
I don't miss it.
Yeah, it's different when you're because I mean we've been eating you've got June and everything, so it's hard for you guys to haul a baby out into the fucking COVID. So we'll go to normal restaurants and stuff like that, and they'll do every other table sectioned off and all that other stuff. So it's so it's a little strange, but it's not that different. And we've been like DoorDash, especially this last week, has been like huge because I thought I had COVID again, and
Yeah.
like that was
Congrats on not having COVID again, or at least,
Hey, thanks, man.
getting a shitty test or something. I don't know.
It was
'Cause
it
sounds
was
like you had
two of
COVID
them.
again.
Yeah, it was like because like I had my weekend in Appleton, which is like a hot spot. Then like I felt like shit Monday and Tuesday and like almost passed out at my desk on Wednesday. So I was like, all right, like I'm out. Like I'm just going home.
Yeah.
And I found like a COVID test like that same day at a CVS. And then what CVS doesn't tell you is that 2 to 5 days means 5 days, 100%, instead of just like, hey, it could be sooner. It's like, oh, it'll be on day 5. Like, just know that.
Yeah.
So then I like felt like shit all weekend. And then like Monday, so what was that? Yesterday, I was like, all right, like I still feel like ass this morning. Like I'm gonna go to like I called the doctor and they're like, we're full today, but go to the urgent care, like it's covered under insurance or whatever. And so I like went there and then they gave me another COVID test, like a quick test for an hour. Like they had it in an hour. So if you have insurance, go to an urgent care. Don't go to CVS. You'll get it within an hour. But that one was negative too.
So at the urgent care, can I get tested for COVID and then also get COVID if I don't have it?
Dude, it's the weirdest. Like that was like the craziest part is like I like felt like shit. Like I was like almost about to pass out. Like it was terrible. And like so like that's the worst part about the pandemic is they're like, okay, like so you already took a test, so it's not COVID, so I guess you're on your own. And it was like, well, I'm at the doctor, like can we maybe figure this out, like just a little bit? And they're like, make an appointment with like your regular doctor and like they'll maybe figure it out. And you're like, all right,
we're not really interested in your other diseases, we just want to pad our COVID stats is what they said.
And it's like obviously I believe in like COVID and all that other shit, and it's like it's bad news and like take care of yourself or whatnot. But it's like what are we doing? Like the lady was like, yeah, the flu is like a real thing too. You should get your flu shot. And it's like, yeah, my flu shot a month and a half ago. Like what are we talking about? This is the first time in like years that I'm taking care of myself actively, and it's been like the worst health year in forever.
I don't want to get too conspiracy on here because we'll get into that in the off season, I'm sure, when this turns into a full-blown conspiracy podcast. But there's some shady funding stuff going on with COVID stats, like, how many a hospital gets compared to what they're getting paid and reimbursed from the government. It's shady.
Oh, like there's some ones that saying that there's places that are saying they're not even going to take flu stats this year. They're only counting on COVID. And it's like, and again, not to get too conspiracy because it's like a real issue and I know all these people have died and blah, like all those like qualifiers that you have to do, even though it's Biden's America now and everything's fine, like everything's good, like the bad guy lost so we can while out a little bit. But like it's like this curfew thing is like wild. Like what are they going to do? Like at some point they're going to be like, hey, the flu's real bad. We're going to put you on a curfew. Like we can just do that now. Like it's like a weird precedent to set.
Yeah. We're gonna in the off season on the conspiracy podcast. I want our goal to be flagged by Twitter like Trump does. Like that's what I want.
It's just like the most like I know we have our off season plan. Like it's good. Like
I haven't discussed this with you yet, but that's what we're doing.
Moving to Browns out of town, where we don't trust anybody who's brown or out of our town. I don't know. Fleets are a thing. Have you played with fleets yet on Twitter?
I think I'm a late adopter. I signed on to Twitter for like the first time today at like 6:00, and I was like, "What the hell is this? They have stories now." Like
it was weird.
I clicked on like the new button on it, and it showed me like what this is, and I was like, "Oh, so it's a story, like Snapchat and like Instagram." Then you're calling it something else.
Yeah, Fleets is the dumbest name of all time. Like that's dumb. They're 8 years later than everybody else on it. But I also put one up like instantly because I think Twitter's the best one anyways. And it's not owned by Facebook, so why not? Like might as well just do it.
That is true. That is true. I need to get
it's for sure owned by the CIA, but like
yeah, and they support white supremacists, but again, I'm getting too far into the conspiracy
Yeah.
podcast.
Who doesn't support white supremacists? Like our government? Like, okay, whatever. Maction tonight. I know this comes out in 2 days and means absolutely. I like that sweater, by the way. That's a nice
Thank
sweater.
you. Yeah, my 2016 Cavs shirt underneath it.
Yeah, they're gonna be trash again this year. I guess we can do basketball at some point too. KSU tonight favored by 26.5. Live look at the score. I know. Did you reorganize your basement?
Yeah. I'll give you a tour after the show. That's fine.
Okay, that's it. I know. I just noticed it. Currently, the score is 14-7. That's something we're gonna do. We're gonna do some live looks on a game that'll be over 2 days later. Or 2 days.
Hey, remember that game that was on earlier this week?
But no, I looked on like the ESPN app. The only reason why I put it on there is like I owned season tickets for a year for Kent State because they were like $60 to alumni, and I was like, oh, I've got $60 to maybe go to a game like at some point this year. I went to 0 games that year when I had tickets, and like you got a free homecoming ticket and parking, so I was like, oh, that's $60 in itself, and didn't go. And it's just Kent State's good at football this year. Like they blew out
out of nowhere. Yeah, because they were terrible last year, right?
Like pretty bad. Like they were like okay for Kent State, but like they were like real bad, and they blew out Bowling Green last week. Like they're scheduled to, or I think they're supposed to win the MAC now. Like that even matters. Like of course it's like not a real football season, but maybe it's not getting beat up by like these like Big Ten teams or like the SEC. That's maybe good for our team.
Yeah, it just makes the conference look better when they're playing each other and not playing Power 5 schools.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Akron's always shitty. Bowling Green's usually got a decent program, and like they're just getting roughed up this year.
I haven't been keeping up with Toledo at all, but
Toledo just lost to Western Michigan last weekend, like that last-minute fake spike.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that's right.
So there's your Maction update for the week. That's going to move the needle.
Yep.
NFL news.
Move on.
NFC East. The only reason why I'm bringing it up because we're playing the NFC East this weekend and all season. And they're just all terrible at football, but it might be like the most interesting division in football right now because you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, the Eagles are 3-5-1, and they're in first.
Yeah, and like it's not even good.
Yeah, I was looking at the Eagles' schedule. They have a rough schedule. I think they're going to lose in the next 5. They have us this week. And then the Seahawks, the Packers, the Saints, and the Cardinals are their next 5 games.
Yeah, they're not winning a single game.
Yeah, then they play the
Cowboys. We're the most
winnable
winnable game out of all those games.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe the Saints, but yeah, other than that.
Not with Jameis Winston slinging the ball. I know it's not in the notes, but Drew Brees should have kneeled instead of talking shit, and maybe he'd still have usable lungs.
Yeah, I didn't see that play. I need to find that, but I heard it was rough.
Nobody has taken a worse hit to their legacy than Drew Brees has this year because everybody's just perfectly fine with shitting on Drew Brees, who's arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, but just everybody hates him this year. Like they're just done.
Didn't he say something about he came out against kneeling for the flag, right, earlier this season?
Yeah, again, like with no prompting, like it was out of nowhere, and he's like, "My grandfather was in World War II.
This is why it matters." Yeah,
yeah, and then he recanted it like 2 days later. Like it wasn't even like it was almost instantly, and then people are just like, "Yeah, Drew, like you just nobody asked, just shut the fuck up." And now he can't throw the ball down the field either. Michael Thomas just doesn't want to be on a team, apparently. And now he's got like an entire broken upper body. Like it's just got to be the worst year to have Drew Brees stock.
That's rough.
Should have kept the face mole.
So, I guess, yeah.
Russell Wilson needs the Lord more than ever. He's got, I think the stat was 7 turnovers in the last 3 games.
Really?
Something crazy like that.
Is that what happened, or is he just not?
From everything that I've watched, because I was watching.
I know you're
was
big in Russell Wilson and God, so yeah.
Dude, it's my favorite thing to do on Twitter is like it's been a while since I've messed with him because I mean he's already having a tough week or two. Like it's hard enough. He doesn't need me in his mentions, pretending to be God. Um, but he just like he's apparently what everybody's saying is the defense is so bad that he's got to like force the ball everywhere. But like he's also making stupid plays. Like the one replay I watched, like it was like 3rd and 5, and he had the full right side of the field completely open for himself to like scramble, and he just turns and they're in the red zone. He turns and throws the ball across his body into the end zone. Instead of taking the first down, he throws an interception like inside the 20, and it just doesn't even make sense. Like he's
It's very un-Russell Wilson. That is strange.
Maybe they shouldn't let Russ cook. Maybe Russ should get DoorDash for a couple weeks. ESPN, I'm here with clips like that. DeAndre Baker's story. This is my favorite story of the week, and I don't know why we haven't signed this guy yet. Do you know the story?
Weren't the charges just dropped yesterday? So
yeah, something like that. Time is kind of a little iffy over the last week since I've been like dying and we were off last week. So like I'm out of my normal thing. But yeah, I think all the charges were officially dropped yesterday. This is that story. We didn't cover it in the off season because it was like weird and like it didn't even matter. But like him and some cat for Seattle got somebody said that they arm robbed them of like jewelry at a dice game in Miami with semi-automatic weapons, and then it just was found out. Like everybody recanted their stories like a month ago. I didn't even know that. Like they recanted their stories a month ago, and then they just arrested like the DA for like trying to blackmail them. And so like like they dropped all the charges, and it was like a giant like scheme to like extort money out of them.
So they were like paying off witnesses or something, right? Or like fake witnesses to say that they were robbed. That's crazy.
And like the guy, I guess, got caught on record saying like for it was like $230,000 a piece or something like that. He can buy off all of the witnesses to get them to do that. And so like now like that DA is going to jail, and this dude like. Luckily, he's only 23 or something like that. Like he's still young, and it's only been like half a season.
He's only had one. Last year was his rookie season, so.
And so like you would hate to see that like if that was just like a mark, because like at some point he's gonna go to like some other spot and then get like pulled over and have like weed in the car or something. And they're gonna be like, well, this is just another problem, even though he's like innocent on this, because that's just how
it's hard to get it's hard to get the headline back. Yeah.
That's weird. Any other NFL news from you?
No, I think I'm good. I didn't really watch too much this weekend. I was busy, but.
We didn't hit it, but that'll blur into the Week 10 recap. 6-3 now. That's a good thing. If like we're still in third in the North, but we have the same record as the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe the Ravens have lost that many games. They seem so much better, but apparently the Steelers are just even better than them. So
the Steelers are so good at football. I know we didn't cover them, but like I don't see them losing. Even like Nick Chubb was on McAfee today, and he's like, I don't even know. Yeah, and it was a good interview. And he's like, because Nick Moraldo asked him like, how afraid of the Steelers defense are you? Like he was just trying to be a dick about it. And he's like, they were good the first time we played them. I don't know if we'll get to play them, like get to play the full defense at the end of the year, because the way they're playing, like they're gonna lock up the 1 seed like real soon.
Yeah.
But we would be tied if Baltimore didn't kick the shit out of us in Week 1. So, I mean, I'm going to say we're tied for second in the AFC North because I think we got an outside shot of beating them later in the season.
Yeah, I think I don't think they're as good as they have been. So I think we do have an opportunity for sure.
I heard a pretty good, I forget who, I think it was on Get Up, because since I've been sick, I've been able to watch a bunch of sports TV. They're talking about like the blocking scheme is just trash for what their offense is trying to do, and everybody's kind of caught on to them. And it's not like everybody's catching up to Lamar Jackson; it's everybody's catching up to Harbaugh's like offense or whatever. So again, 2020, a bad year to be a Harbaugh as a coach. That's not going well for either one of them.
Yeah, he's gonna end up with the Bears. Calling it.
I mean, they're 6-3, like, and they're like still one of the best teams. Like, I didn't put the power rankings in here. Like, we were ranked from ESPN like 16th, below teams that we've beat, which is weird. And like, the Ravens were still like 6th or something crazy. But it is what it is. Did you watch the game Sunday? Did you watch it live with Matt Millen and fucking Dick Northwood or whatever the fuck his name was?
Are they full-time announcers? I was wondering because I know Fox had like a ton of games this weekend because the Masters were on CBS. So I think I didn't know if they had to like bring those guys back in. I know they were like a team in like the 90s. They were like one of the first people to broadcast for Fox for a while or something like that. I forget what.
They only said it 13 times.
Yeah, but I haven't seen them. Like, was that like a one-time thing just to fill in this weekend because they had so many games on Fox?
I mean, Matt Millen has been off and on for like ever. Because like Matt Millen was like the GM for the Lions
for the Lions. Yeah.
And like he's just as bad at commentary now as the Lions were when he was GM. But like
that's pretty rough.
Like they were just so bad. Like I know that like I put it on Twitter, but they called the Texans, they kept saying the Houston, Texas, like, and it was like multiple times, and it was like definitely not on purpose, like how like somebody would be like, oh, from Cleveland, Ohio. Like it was just like they did that. The only good commentary they had was when that fucking pigeon was on the field. They're like, that pigeon's been there forever. And you're like, oh, is this what you've been paying attention to the whole game?
Yeah, sorry, I was watching a pigeon. Yeah, I didn't see who was that flag on. Yeah.
God, like it was just that bad. And I honestly think that we would be a better commentary team going in with like no preparation, like this podcast. Like us going in there with no preparation is better than them with like some preparation and being in football for 40 years.
Yeah, I saw McAfee going off on it today on the commentators, and then they just like try not to say any names. And somebody said, Vilma is really terrible. I don't know what game he was doing, but
I don't know what game Vilma was doing either. But like they were so bad for the Browns game. Like it was just bad. But what wasn't bad, who was actually good? Look at that fucking transition. We're professional. I know professionals wouldn't call it out, but I mean, we're like, look at this. Nick Chubb was back and looked great.
Yeah, he looked really good. Yeah. I missed the last play of the game. I had to leave, so I didn't see the end of the game. But that's a pro play on Nick Chubb's part. I'm sure it didn't do you too well, but I don't have him on my fantasy team, so I liked it.
I have him on 2 fantasy teams. It didn't affect me on one of them because I was up by enough, but then the other one I lost by 1.5 points. So like even just like just that touchdown would have made me win that game. I also made some other bad moves, and I mean it was like the obvious good football play. Like that's the only good thing you can say about it is like when's the last time the Browns made a good football play on purpose?
Yeah, smart play.
Yeah, like, and it's so you can't be mad about it. You wanted to win, but I could have used those 6 points in fantasy.
Yeah, that's rough. Pat, my brother-in-law, sent me a screenshot of his fantasy score from 2 weeks ago, I think it was. He lost by 0.2 points.
It's been a tough fantasy football year. Like, it's been real tough, especially with like the decimal points of like points. That seems to be a standard thing now. And like, losing by like 0.7 points is so much worse than losing by a whole point. Like I'd rather just lose by that whole point than like that fraction of a point.
Yeah, if you're gonna lose, round up. Yeah.
Kareem Hunt looked great too. I think that offense needs Nick Chubb to like even be usable. Like the passing game didn't exist because the weather was terrible, but Nick Chubb made the offense. Like Kareem Hunt looked like a completely different player because he didn't have to run the ball 1,000 times a game. He's not the focus. I almost feel like he can't take like the spotlight, because even in like Kansas City when he had that
he's the
great year.
perfect complement to Nick Chubb is what it is. They make each other better, I think. And it really makes you regret that he wasn't available for that Raiders game, because that Raiders game with Nick Chubb becomes so much more winnable. You know, it's disappointing.
I think we're set up. I wanted to go into this as like we are not a cold weather like dirty football team, but with Nick Chubb we are. Like that's
Yeah.
our offense is made to run the ball, get our 5-6 yards a carry. Like I put on there 231 rush yards between the two of them. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
And like we'll go deeper into the defense, but our defense only gave up 243 yards total. So like we rushed for almost their entire offense on Sunday. And that's like, I know that you're supposed to be like sexy and throw the ball all over the field, but like when it's like shitty and winter out, like since like the weather's been terrible on the whole East Coast for like the last 3 weeks, like this is the best case scenario. Like our offense looks great. You're not going to win by 1,000,000 points, but like your defense is making stops it needs to against like subpar teams, which is who we play the rest of the season, except for like
Right.
two teams.
Yeah,
Like, you're doing
everything
what you
except
need
for the
to.
Ravens or the Ravens and the Steelers games are winnable for the rest of the year. I mean, we'll talk about that too. But yeah, I think there's going to be more games like this to come, and I think I'm just grateful Nick Chubb was able to make it back, and that knee injury wasn't any worse, because it'd be a whole different season. You can definitely tell.
Oh yeah, if they didn't have like every game, I mean, again, we'll run through them, but like all the games that we should win, we're going to like our should win games because of Nick Chubb. Where if we don't have him, those are like, who the fuck knows? Like we don't know what the
Right.
offense is without him. We don't know what it is. Defense, something that I didn't expect would be like they had a shutout until the fourth quarter and like looked good.
Yeah, they did. I didn't see too many Sendejo plays that came out that like caught my eye. So I think that's a good a good game for Andrew Sendejo is when I don't notice him.
The only one that I saw was on the that fourth down stop where Miles hit him in the like took Watson down in the backfield like early in the game.
Yeah.
Like Sendejo, like somebody pointed out that Sendejo was like celebrating like he did it, and it was like, all right, come on, guy, like your only job is to not fuck up at this point, and everybody will like forget that you were even that bad.
Just don't be don't put attention on yourself, Sendejo. Just play the game.
Yeah, like you've got like this is the least that I've had an opportunity to shit on him all year, and the only reason I'm going to is because he celebrated. Like you just like sit in the background, like you didn't mess anything up today. Like that's all you did is not mess anything up. That's all you had.
Pat on the back to yourself. That's all you need.
Yeah, you're great. Myles Garrett. I know Aaron Donald is like supposed to be tied with him in sacks and stuff like that, but Myles Garrett is the defensive player of the year. Like every single snap, like that first half sack that he got, which is it was a full sack. Somebody else just cleaned it up, whatever. But like it was instantly like, oh, you just know that Myles, like even before the game, he's lined up over Laramie Tunsil, like over like one of the best tackles in the league. And you're just like, oh, Myles Garrett's for sure showing up in this play. And like, you just know it. He can turn it on when he wants to. It's weird.
Yeah. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I want to see him do some damage.
Yeah, like this is the first one where he didn't have a strip sack in for a long time, so that's kind of crazy. And last but not least, everybody wants to get on like the Baker Mayfield isn't. They're not putting the game on his shoulders anymore, but he did exactly what he needed to do. Like he looked fine. He made big plays when he needed to. Like the one to Higgins on the right side of the field, he hit him on. He made a couple of good throws to Jarvis. Like he's just making those plays when he needs to. Otherwise, turn around, hand the ball to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and get a W.
Yeah. I'm Baker doesn't need to be a headline. He just needs to manage the game. I know people will dog on him for being a game manager, being taken number 1 overall, but that's where he fits best, is to be a manager and just hand the ball off to Chubb and Hunt and make plays.
And The GOAT was perfect yesterday. One extra point, one field goal in the wins. I mean, everything's great. Sorry. I was reading about because Andy Janovich is on the COVID list, which is like quote unquote breaking news, but I saw Ogunjobi being brought up in this article, so I wanted to see what it was that was going on to it. I guess
Was
they just
Janovich the reason they shut down the facility and then reopened it? Was it him?
Yeah,
And did too much.
Janovich was the guy who he's on the list. Apparently, he tested positive. So like they shut it down, and then like they're perfectly fine today, which is it makes no sense, but it makes complete sense. So who really knows? But like last week, it was
Baker.
well, Baker was on the list, but like I'm blanking on backup lineman. Actually was like he tested positive.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
It's like killing me. But like it's always funny when it's like when it is a player and they're like they do like the contact tracing and like nobody else on the team had like a high impact like contact with them and it's like how much do these people hate that guy? Like,
Yeah.
It's either like it's set up the right way or like just nobody likes them and that's why they're fucking terrible.
Like God, I cannot stand talking to Janovich. Yeah.
Well, he was on the field a lot, like, and that's one of the big things. There, like this, like of all the players, like he was on special teams and on offense, like a lot.
Yeah, he's always on the field.
Week 11 preview. Did you have anything else to do on the week 10?
Nope, I'm good.
Alrighty, so we hit the COVID thing. It really just depends on the weather. I know I should have put that first, but like, who the fuck knows? Like, we just made like we took a shot in the dark on Sunday on our scores. We were way off.
It's so bad.
But like, maybe that's something. Maybe we need to do a preliminary weather
I'm
account
checking right now. Hold on. Let me see here. Sunday, another rainy game. High at 57. Rain all day. So.
All right, so they're running the ball.
Chill. Yep.
I think that's good. I think that's good for us because, like, I mean, the only chance that any team has against us is like a big passing game because just like we have holes all over the secondary. The one linebacker should be coming back. What's his face? God damn, I want to say Josh Jacobs, but it's not. He was like, "Get out of here, fucking computer." He was almost coming back last week. I'm gonna find it real quick. But I mean, we got to get pressure on Wentz. They didn't have like a super big like running game last week. They like the Eagles lost to the Giants in like a pretty convincing way, and I think we're better than the Giants.
Looking up how many sacks Carson Wentz has this year.
Joe Jackson. That's who was supposed to be coming back. Maybe it was Joe Jackson. No, Jacob Phillips, sorry. Jacob Phillips was supposed to come back last week. So, like, that's going to add more depth if he comes back. But, like, our fucking... God. Why is Carl Joseph not playing in Sendejo's spot? Like, I know, again, I know it's a different... Or Carl... Or who's the fucking hurt kid?
I don't know. Carson Wentz has been sacked 35 times this year already.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. That's going to be good.
He was sacked 37 and 16 last year. So that's a rough year.
So that's good for us. Don't miss out on points. I think that was a big thing. Like in this last game, they went for it or like they did something stupid. Like they should have kicked the field goal right before half, but like they just like ran out the clock pretty much. And it was like one of those like I know we don't want to give up like the field position with a little bit of time left, like late in the second quarter. But like when you have the chance at points like right before half when they're not doing anything, you almost have to take those points. And like it almost came to bite us in the ass a little bit. So I'd rather have them do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then run the ball. We got to get the play action going a little bit more. Like my note of depends on the weather, but like I think it's going to be important for like
Yeah.
at
As
some
long as
point.
it's not like terribly windy, that play should be there. So
And I mean, like for games that like we're at Jacksonville and at Tennessee later in the season, like it's not going to be as shitty weather. Like so, like they need to have like a real offense too. Like
yeah,
it's not a problem, but you can't just get used to running the ball like that.
right.
All right. Anything else on the preview?
No, let's go scores.
Scores, I added it. The Browns are -3, so they're 3-point favorites, and the over/under is 45.5.
Take the
What do you
under on
think
that
on that?
one.
You're
Yeah,
taking the
taking
under? Yeah, I mean the weather's going to be shitty. So what do you think your score is?
I'm gonna go 13-7 Browns.
I'm going to go, let me do math here. 20-10. I think it's under, but I don't know. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring. It's not going to be as hard to watch.
Yeah. On the original schedule game, you have them as this is a loss. Is that just based off of the hype for the Eagles preseason?
Oh, you mean when we did this 10 weeks ago? Yes, my opinion has changed on a 3-5
No, I
and
know.
1
I was just
team,
trying to get
Jimmy.
like, yeah, no, I mean, I just didn't think the Eagles were that good to begin with. You know, that's all. I'm just saying.
You always buy into like
So,
Wentz is supposed to be like the savior. They've won a
yeah.
Super Bowl with this team pretty much. Like they've gotten bit by the injury bug. Like you just buy the hype every year, and I got sucked into it. And we didn't know that the Browns were like they're. I still don't think the Browns are like that good, but
Yeah.
like they're. We
I mean,
didn't
if
know
they
that
get
they
to
were this
seven,
good.
if they get to 7-3, though, how much longer can you doubt this team? And not you specifically, but like people that say they're not a good 6-3 team. You know, like 7-3. I don't know when have they ever been 7-3? You know.
Yeah, and I mean, so the narrative is going to be like the same thing with the Steelers is like the AFC North has matched up with the NFC East this year. So like
Yeah, it's a
our
week
out
to
of conference games have been like suspect anyways. Um so I mean that helps. I mean we had Cincy, Washington, Dallas, and Cincy again. So that's 4
Yeah.
wins before the
And
bye week.
the AFC South's not great either. I mean, the Jacksonville and Houston, at least, you know, that's 2 rough teams there. So
Yeah, and I mean Houston was supposed to be better than they are this year. Tennessee's
yeah.
just fallen apart over the last couple weeks. Like, do you want me to ask you that? Like, if Jacksonville loses 2 more games going into our game with them, do you want me to be like, so Jimmy, you had them as a loss going in? Like it's a completely different
No, I
team
have
situation.
Jacksonville as a win. What do you mean?
No, I'm talking about Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Tennessee
Jacksonville's
plays
gonna be
tough.
trash anyways.
I'm terrified of Derrick Henry. I still think that's a loss, but we'll get to that in a couple weeks.
He's a tight end who can run like a 4-1.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. So I mean, I still like you had him 11-5. I had him 10-6. Like I still think we're a 10-6 team, but like I don't know. Like Baltimore, I think we could beat the second game. I think we lose to Pittsburgh again unless they sit everybody. But like we're not losing to the Giants or the Jets. Maybe the Giants. The Giants might actually beat us the way that what's his nuts is playing.
Playing good. Yeah, Daniel Jones has been on fire. It's crazy.
And I mean they might need that win later in the season to like get into the playoffs. So like that's a dangerous team.
Yeah, especially in that shitty division. So
but I mean, like you said with Philly losing the next 5, I mean we should. So like we won Houston, we should win this week. We should win against Jacksonville. Tennessee is, I mean, I have them as a win before the season, but that was just a gut feeling. That's a maybe because Cincy beat them.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, we should win the like 4 in a row here, or we at least have like a very good chance of winning 4 in a row here.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, not too upset about it.
The Tennessee game's a revenge game from last year too, because they opened up and whooped our ass last year.
Dude, fuck Freddie Kitchens. So bad.
Yep.
That's that I tweeted that out from the account that got like a little bit of attention. Like the fake field goal into a punt that Houston did. was just like a 100% homage to Freddie Kitchens. Like,
Yeah.
like every Browns game you watch, you see something that you've never seen before. Like
Yeah.
it's always those games that don't even make any sense.
They
But
didn't. Part of the broadcast crew that was terrible about that is they didn't show a replay of that punt. Like I wanted to see that again. They never showed it.
it was a great punt.
Yeah, I missed it. Like I was so confused. I thought it was a block at 1 second, and then turned out it was a punt. So
Well, like, so I just pulled it up real quick because like I did the power rankings from ESPN, and the Ringer are the ones that I like better because they're usually more fair. But I mean, they've got us back in the contenders part at number 15. But like this is like the group that we're clustered with that like they might be on. So Arizona they have at 6. I don't think we're better than Arizona. I think they kill us. Buffalo, the way they're playing, even though they just lost a heartbreaker, I think they beat us. I think we got a shot at the Dolphins. Ravens, who knows? We beat the Colts, but they have them at 10th. So I don't know why that makes sense. I still think we're better than the Rams, the Titans, Seahawks, and Raiders. Like we lost to the Raiders. So I think like we should be like 13th or 14th, and like the Colts should be lower, and maybe the Dolphins because like they're 6-3, but like they have a rookie quarterback that hasn't done shit and really beat any real teams yet. Like I don't know.
right. Yeah. We'll see.
But I don't know. Live update before we get out of here on our Maction is 21-14. Real fucking shootout. I wonder what the over under was originally. I didn't look at that. They probably won't have the original over under on here anymore, will they?
Right. It's gonna be hard to find.
But I don't think Kent State's winning by the over under is currently 76.5. And right, they updated it. You could still bet on the over or on 24.5 is the spread right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna get that.
Wild. All right. So there's that. Beers, Bourbon, Barbecue. Anything else coming up, Jimmy?
No, not this weekend. Going home to see my sister and her baby. So nothing going on this weekend.
Oh, you're like driving to the motherland.
Yep, heading home. I gotta try to get a COVID test this week, so we don't take anything back. But
yeah, just schedule it at like CVS or like I said, go to like an urgent care and tell them like it's like $90 they said, but like I didn't get a bill when I left, so I don't know if they run it through insurance first. So it's not like the worst thing in the world. You'll find out in an hour. Yeah, whoisRayRoberts.com. I don't have any shows coming up anytime soon because I'm trying to do my part with that now that I don't have like a real weekend yet. But going back to Ohio and at the end of December, so I will be doing shows when I'm back home. That's just gonna, unless the like everything's shut down, like, so that's gonna be a thing because that's just where I see everybody, and there's no point to go back there if I'm not gonna be doing that. So so there's that. Might be starting a new podcast with our friend Joe. I don't think you know Joe, but that'll be fun. But other than that, I think we're good on it. Any last things, Mr. Crawford?
No, I'm good to go. On to the Eagles.
Yes, I was looking for the stop recording button, which is why I was stalling because I forgot where it was. So it was, we almost made it a whole episode without it being an issue, and I was like, "Fuck, where is this thing?"
Changing stuff on you, yeah.
But whatever. All right, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Football!